Hey everyone, this is Mike. I'm here with Isaac,
Yo,
and we're here to talk about PC gaming in its current state with the whole situation with.
more like PC in general.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is an article that was brought up by Isaac here regarding Jeff Bezos basically believing that the whole AI situation isn't going to die down anytime soon regarding the whole RAM crisis that's going on right now. Like, as everybody, a lot of people know, RAM prices have skyrocketed to a lot due to a lot of companies basically buying out all the RAM and using it for their computers for AI and whatnot. And because of that whole situation, Jeff Bezos believes that the situation isn't going to die down soon. And the alternative to that is cloud computing. Cloud gaming basically is what they're saying, that you're not going to own your PC anymore. You're not going to own anything that's a PC or like a smartphone, anything. You're not going to own any of it, but you'll be able to do everything on the cloud, which I think is complete nonsense because, like, as much as cloud computing is useful, it's only good as a supplement to regular computing. And that's how I will always see it, just like cloud gaming, as a very useful supplement to regular gaming. It will always just be used nothing more than a supplement. It can never be a replacement. It's just a really stupid rich guy comment again, because it's just really dumb rich guy comment, I would say, as it is. And that's basically the long and short of it. I mean, I do have an article here by Tom's Guide that we could go into, but I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Well, you sit here and say it's stupid though, but look at where we are right now, right? Physical media is pretty much dead. They managed to sit there. Not. No, I get it. To a certain extent, there are areas where you can still buy physical media, but mostly not. They managed to push for digital, right? Like when's the last time have you bought in a physical video game in the last couple of days? Like an actual physical video game?
It was like 2 years ago when I bought Splatoon 3,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, listen, when it comes to certain things, yeah, I will always buy physical, like for a game console like that. I would like a Switch game. I would always buy physical, but even then, it's being phased out by like it's being phased out annoyingly because especially with the whole Switch 2 and the game card situation,
don't get me wrong.
which is incredibly stupid.
Which is kind of slightly driving into my point. These corporate it goes back to the saying, you give them an inch and it will take a mile, and this is kind of where they're going right now. And in terms of the argument with Jeff Bezos at the moment, I think where my issue with what he's bringing up is why I'm bringing up the physical copy situation, because yes, it still exists, but generally the basic casual audience right now has kind of accepted streaming, has kind of accepted all these digital platforms pretty much. Yes, video games, you can still purchase that, you can still purchase movies, but at the end of the day, casually gamers are going to tend to go towards Steam. They're going to try to go to Gamer Pass. They're going to go with GOG. The digital side of things, which has pretty much has dominated most of retail consumerism, and the companies have managed to do a great job doing it. So now it feels like if you continue, we've already introduced the idea of digital marketplace to now the next step with everything that has happened, and especially how these companies have basically messed up the market, the whole PC market, was the shortage of everything. Now it's the shortage of GPUs. And I think NVIDIA came out and basically said that we are going to stop making graphic cards. Well, I don't think they stop making graphic cards. They're going to start making certain. I think they're going to start certain models of graphic cards. They're going to stop producing in the next couple of months.
Yeah, they're planning to re-release old graphic cards,
which is insane.
Which is really insane. I mean, yeah, it's really stupid.
Was charging,
and it's still charging premium price. It was that again. It was really, really stupid in that regard. And yeah, I get what you're saying, that we've accepted digital, but at the same time, people also like options. Like, and people will always try to have as many as possible. I know you brought up GOG as an alternative to Steam. The reason why people accept GOG as the alternative is because it's DRM free. You buy it, it's yours forever. There's no online authentication like Steam, because people say that Steam has no authentication, which isn't true, because Steam itself is the authentication. You need to be online on Steam in order to play a lot of your games. Some of your games on Steam you don't have to. You could technically play without, but a lot of them you do a lot. At least a lot of the modern, like a lot of the modern premium games, you have to be logged onto Steam in order to play it. You don't have to do that with GOG. So people are a lot more easier to accept that kind of digital stuff compared to something like Steam, where you have to be always online, or Epic Games, or any of the other third-party game launchers, like I guess Uplay or EA Store, whatever it's called. And consumers always like options. And that's why one thing I would say is that just because people accept digital doesn't mean they want to get rid of physical. And
that's a great point. But that's not where I'm trying to go at. It's not about digital. By what they want to do is that they don't want to give you choice. They want to eliminate choice. What Jeff Bezos said, the not loud part loud, is something that companies drool. They're drooling. Yeah. They're getting hard on. They want this type of movement where you don't have a choice. This goes beyond Steam and GOG, and I try to use that as an example. What they want is they don't want you to own an actual PC moving forward, meaning that you don't own anything on your PC, meaning that you don't own any of the games on top of like the internet. Like, yes, they control the internet, so like you said, what happens to a point where, yeah, all these games that you bought, well, what happens if the service goes down or the electricity goes down? Well, you won't be able to get a hold of any of that. They want to take it to the next step further, to the point where with everything that has gone up, with inflation, with the prices, the fact that us as enthusiasts or business people that want to be able to make their own PC games, with all the prices that are going up, and for normal people to be able to get a hold of that, you're basically now going to start shunning a lot of people from the planet, because they're not going to be able to afford it. Basically making PCs in general almost a luxury to people that actually have money to afford it. So now you're getting to a point where you can't afford RAM, you can't afford a graphic card, you can't afford all this essentials to build a PC. Well, if we've taken all that away because now everything's expensive, the only option you're going to go right to is cloud computing. And now we can charge you monthly. We can charge you hourly. We can get you monthly. And we can put outrageous prices on anything we want. Meaning, at some point, you don't own your computer anymore. It goes beyond games. It goes beyond products that you want to make. It goes beyond software you want to download. It goes anything in terms of modification and being an enthusiast. If this is the world that they are asking for, and I know he only said that very quietly, that it was the loudest thing he said at that press conference. If that's the world that they want to sit down and push, you're not going to own shit. It's already bad enough as it is. It's bad enough that you don't really own your phone because you have to pay monthly. It's bad enough that you don't own your car because it's now starting to have more computer parts in it. Hell, Tesla owns your car. It can even get to a point, if you don't even pay your stuff, that car can drive itself right back to the lot because you didn't pay whatever monthly bills that you were supposed to pay on that car. Now you're starting to get to a weird dystopian land where you don't even own your own PC to be able to keep your records or to keep your data or anything. That's what is a little concerning when it comes from these $1 billion things. And I always say, again, going back to what we say, when you give an inch, you give them the mile. We gave them that 1 inch because you like it, and now they're going to try to run with it. And that's what I'm a little concerned about when Jeff Bezos said about that. I don't know if you're going to want to go and read more into Tom Scott article about it, but from what I read about it, that's kind of the thing that he wants to introduce into cloud computing, where to the point where a lot of people that can't afford to even build a decent computer are going to now be subject to that, to the point where not only do they have to pay monthly on certain subscription fees, they can charge them for whatever they want. And if, or even if you do make those monthly payments, they can do whatever they want because of those stupid contracts and those little things they're always constantly sending down and changing with AI and stuff like that. I think it's one of the issues right now that we're having with artificial intelligence and how it has now pushed people into stuff that they don't want. I know we sit down and talk about it a lot, how companies are forcing their workers to use AI, and to part of it and starting to be much of a supplement. Like we've always talked, it should be a tool and should add on to it. I've heard that a lot of workers have found it not good, and has actually been more of a deterrent on how they're doing the work than more of a benefit. Yeah. Even though they're trying to force people to use technology that they don't really use. It's almost trying to introduce a problem that really was never a problem to begin with, and they're really trying to push that idea onto us right now.
Yeah.
That's the concern I'm having. Sorry, Mike.
And I totally understand the concern regarding this. And listen, like, I guess as I said it before, I'm perfectly fine with cloud computing as a supplement, and it should always be treated like that. But I get the whole situation with AI and stuff like that being like annoying where you get with the whole RAM prices. I generally do think that it's not going to last forever with the whole RAM crisis, because eventually when a lot of these companies come to realize that a lot of this AI stuff isn't selling for them, they're going to fold. I've said this before, that the AI bubble is going to burst just like the .com bubble, where it's only going to be a few surviving companies when it comes down to the finish line. I mean, it's already been announced that OpenAI, the people that own ChatGPT, lost billions of dollars on that, and they're hoping for someone to bail them out before they get, they get cratered. And genuinely, when it comes down to it, I don't think anyone's going to bail them out. Because again, as I've said before, 90% of people are not going to be able to make use of AI as it is, especially when it comes to this generative AI stuff. Because mostly when you just put in prompts and stuff like that, and these are prompts that can't be edited, or you given work that is hard to actually work with, it's going to be useless to 90% of people. And that's what a lot of these companies are finding out, that a lot of this generative AI stuff is useless to a lot of people, but they keep trying to force it, and they're basically
that's kind of the issue right now that I'm having. I think they're going to
find out the hard way.
They're going to continue to try to force it. And as much as I want to believe with OpenAI, yes, they've been losing billions of dollars. I feel like someone's going to step in to bail them out at some point in time. Like, again, I thought about that. Like, it's going to be the .com bubble, though. However, as much as, yes, even though they're going to sit there and bear it out, I feel like it's going to cause so much damage before anything gets resetted in terms of getting RAM prices back to being normal, in terms of hardware, basic PC hardware getting back to actual normal within the next couple of years and stuff like that. And I just feel like with OpenAI and how much nonsense that has been built to it, even though I feel like you are correct, I don't think that's going to stop Microsoft. I don't think that's going to stop Facebook. I don't think that's going to stop Amazon, as Amazon's pushing. I think they're going to go very head fun into trying to figure this out in some form way. So even it means if it has to buy out one of these AI companies to keep it moving forward, so they can have a kind of position them dominantly in the world. And we also said this too. Other people are also competing in this space too. I think it's all going to blow up. I totally agree. But because everybody's competing to try to control that, I think people are not going to be able to get out of their own way. And then again, I think we're all we're all going to take a hit for it because of their greed and trying to push for something like this.
Yeah.
Even to the point of him saying that was cloud computing. Like I said, I agree with you. It should be a supplement in terms of normal PC. But the fact that they want to push normal PC out and him bringing it up, I think that's something that you have to feel like you have to take kind of seriously right now in terms of how everything's being structured at the moment, in terms of inflation, in terms of everything being expensive right now. So,
I mean, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, the customer still has the final say, because as much as you want to push this stuff on people, people can just simply not support it out of principle. Like, it doesn't matter how much you try to force people to use this stuff. There are so many people that are just not going to support anything with AI.
I agree.
Out of principle.
You're probably right.
Like, there's also ways to avoid clouding. Oh, you don't like using Windows 11? Okay, then people are just going to switch to Linux. Oh, you don't like all this Android stuff on your phone? People are going to figure a way. There are guides to a way to de-Google your phone. There are so many ways to sidestep a lot of this stuff, and a lot of people, you'd be surprised at how much people are willing to not deal with this crap.
I hope so, and I hope that the normal, I think where my mind goes in, I think of the normal casual people that are not reading this or not paying attention to the news or not actually more bevy to technology like you and I, because I know we have a podcast and we're sitting there and telling people about it. We're going to, whoever, listens to our stuff, thank you for listening. But I kind of worry about like our parents and like normal basic consumers that are not all about all this technology. I kind of worry about them who are not really computer savvy to the point where they can get duped in something like this. Like, you need this because we're telling you that you need this. I feel like that's the kind of the people that are not informed about that.
Yeah, and there's always going to be people like that. There's always going to be people who go to Best Buy and go to Geek Squad and tell you need to buy this $500 package because it's the best thing for your PC. There's always going to be like people like that. But eventually, you just
hope there's enough of us to counter them.
Well, when budgets get tight, when people tighten their wallets, they tighten their wallets, man. Like you can't force people to open their wallets for something they know they won't need, and obviously word of mouth can spread.
I just feel like so much of the companies that we're running right now, that's what a company's going to try to do, right? They're going to try to force you into wanting something that you honestly don't need to make their share lords happy. I meant to say that's not the word that I'm trying to come in my mouth. But they're going to do everything to make their shareholders happy. Like the whole point is that they're going to have to try to force you on something that you probably don't want. Like, there's been a lot of moves that should have been compliments, but have figured a way to force it on you in some form of way, and that's kind of the situation. Like, it's easier for us to say that, no, we can fight against the system and they're going to figure a way. And you're probably also right. But then going to saying to the casual people that don't follow this stuff, that if they're going to need a PC and their PC is outdated and they don't have the money, like you said, wallets are getting tight and they can't afford to buy a basic normal computer, and this is the option that they give them, and you need it to be able to do your work, they're putting a heart on a rock place. What are you going to ask them to do? They're going to unfortunately go this path. I think about back in the day of Adobe. Remember in Adobe, you were able to just buy the product, it one time, call it a day, and then they went into subscription, and then it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, and now Adobe's trash because like nobody wants to use Adobe anymore to the point. And like you said, it pissed people so much that they went to other performers. They eventually went to other competitors that were offering better needs than over Adobe. But because only so many of these companies, there's only so many of these companies you can choose around. That's what I'm getting. It's getting to the point where these companies are buying out everybody out to the point that there isn't going to be choice. there isn't going to be consumer choice until there's like a revolt.
Yeah, maybe. Unfortunately, if it has to come to a revolt, it's gonna come to a revolt.
All right, let's do it, man. Let's start a revolution, man. Let's do it.
I mean, I don't want to
bomb some shit. I'm talking.
No,
I'm playing.
I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to start a revolution. And again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think AI is fine as a tool.
I agree.
And not as a replacement for human effort. I wish people would just understand that, but always got to be a lot of jackasses that got to ruin a. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah,
it's just another case of this is why we can't have nice things. I would very much love if AI would stick around as a tool, but fortunately, a bunch of jackasses want to be greedy, want to be cut. A lot of jackasses want to be greedy with it. A lot of people want to abuse it to the point where nobody likes it. It just sucks, man. I'm not the kind of person who wants to throw the baby out with the bathwater because I see the potential of this technology. But at this point,
I agree. I totally agree. But unfortunately, these big companies are pushing it so far up everybody's buttholes right now to the point that nobody wants to deal with it. And now you kind of have to throw it away. Or at least until maybe in the next 5 or 10 years that somebody comes back to artificial intelligence and actually looks at it. Kind of remember Stadia from Google?
Yes. Yeah. It's funny because like with Stadia, I figured if anyone could make cloud gaming work, it was them, but even they couldn't figure it out, which is embarrassing for them. It's just like, goddamn, like.
So I feel like that's kind of the whole situation where AI may have to fail for a little bit to come back to be revisited maybe 5 or 10 years down the road.
Maybe it does have to fail for people to just get off of it for a while, then bring the technology back and maybe some regulations on it, how it can be used, maybe some more lessons on what it's good for and stuff like that. Then maybe we could bring it back because the way I see it, it's hard to defend. It's getting harder and harder to defend the use of generative AI as the days go by, just because of just horrible people.
Just because of greed. Just because of human greed, company greed. This should have been something that's eased in. And I get it. Maybe some technology is just not ready to be introduced to the people yet. Like clearly what we're seeing right now. But because greed is trying so hard to force it down your throat right now, bro, I don't want any of this.
Yeah. Again, it's just every time a new bit of technology hits the Western world, it's always seen as this major, it's going to bring about the destruction of Western civilization. It happened with television. It happened with Web 1.0. It happened with smartphones, and now AI is just the new moral panic. Eventually, people will learn to live with it, but until then, it's just moral panic for now. Ugh.
It's not like we don't have some forms of AI in our tech before open chat.
Before generative AI
became the big point. It's just now the way that it's being just shoved down our face right now.
Throats,
it's like, come on, man.
Again, this is just us rambling at this point. Again, there was a whole article from Tom's Guide regarding the whole situation, but that's basically the long and short of it from what Isaac is basically was saying, the whole situation with the RAM prices and just them trying to force all this stuff down our throats and stuff like that. And there was something I wanted to mention about it being bad for the environment, which I personally think it's kind of overblown because a lot of people love to say that it's using too much water and stuff like that, which is half true. They tried to gather a lot of water for these AI data centers, but it's being used on a loop. It's not you're just pouring cold water.
I don't think it's about. I think what they worry about. Yes, I think it's the water that's kind of being researched, but eventually these data centers eventually have. I think what they're talking about, these current data centers that they have now, if you want to be able to produce the AI computing power you need, they're going to have to eventually expand. That's the argument what they're talking about is the environment. You're going to have to expand these data centers. So yes, it's going to require more resource to be able to compute the power. That's the worry that people are having. These are not just one data center that I have.
I know.
So that's the worry right now. So whatever you have to spread onto it, you're going to be able to get more water, to get more whatever it's used to burn the stuff. But that's the worry.
But again, like I wanted to say before you kind of cut me off, is that, again, this water is still being used in a loop, just like with certain like water coolers. In fact, I have one in my computer right now. It's it's like an all-in-one water cube that's being used on a loop. It's not technically going to waste. And let me finish.
That.
Let me finish.
No, I'll let you finish.
Because again, if we're all in agreement that this AI stuff is going to end up bursting, then eventually a lot of this water is just going to be be released back into like the lakes or the oceans once all these companies end up.
You're probably right, which is even worse. Which is worse was how AI has been used to even begin with situation. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like they'll probably be scummy about it. It would which going back to it, it's like, well, you guys were responsible how you building these data centers to begin with in the first place. Right now, I get it. One computer that has like liquid cooling. Well, if we're gonna need computer, we're probably gonna need two computers with it. So we're gonna have to knock down some trees and throw some water on that bad boy so we can get more use it. So
I mean,
I get it.
I don't think that, like, again, a lot of companies are trying to expand, but again, I also think a lot of companies are going to end up failing in the long run. So,
like you said, they're losing money on it. So yeah, there isn't. They said they could end up running out of money by what, in 2 years? I think that was what I heard.
Yep. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Again, and just like I think it's going to be a bumpy year or two going forward, but again, I think that eventually things will calm down and things will return to normal. Because even with these companies, they don't have infinite money to pour into this thing, and if people just simply refuse to like support this stuff, there's no amount of like shareholder like cash infusions or investments are going to save it.
Or angel investor is going to come in.
If nobody's buying this stuff, because again, the consumer has the last say, and that's what I kept saying. In fact, that's what I kept saying while all of these like DEI companies and saying like, oh, BlackRock, all this crap in gaming is going to keep happening, and people are going to keep shoving like political crap in gaming. Like, it's not happening as much now because a lot of people just stop buying these games. As long as nobody's like, you can't sell this stuff to nobody. Like, no, you're right. At the end of the day, if nobody's buying, then you don't have a business.
Correct. That is very true. Someone has to buy the product. I think that's why OpenAI said they're going to try to launch products, actual AI products. Like they're trying to get into the Beats and Bose era, where they're trying to watch like headphones and sets and other crap because they have to justify OpenChat GPT and all this OpenAI nonsense. Like they have to sell a product of some sort if they're going to recoup any kind of money now.
Yeah, it is what it is. Again, it's going to be a bumpy few years, but I think in the end, things will calm down and we'll find some kind of equilibrium when it comes to all this crap. But that being said, I think we've rambled enough. It's almost like 30 minutes on this video. But what do you think about the whole situation? Do you think Jeff Bezos is right believing that AI is going to force people to rent their PCs from the cloud? Do you think that this RAM crisis is going to last forever? Do you think it's going to end in a year or two? Let us know. And if you like what we do here, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm Mike with Isaac, and we are saying peace.